right. This is a long story. Buckle up.
Do we open this up to top?
Nope. Shh. Here we go.
Alright, get comfortable. Alright, the story's called The Super Mole. Basically, at this time I'm calling for Super Bowl. The creature raised its head up, mouth full of fried worms. He looked out at the football field as he cleared his mouth from the greasy aftertaste with water. The long-anticipated game was here. The new Mole Giants versus the Cincinnati Groundhogs. Mueller had decided previously to not pay for a ticket until his team was in the Super Bowl. What is his favorite team? Easily, it was the New Mole Giants, of course. Indeed, it was the only team whose mascot was in fact a mole. Now, saying the stadium was packed is an understatement. One could hardly put a piece of paper in between the fans, but there was an exception. There was a 5-foot gap that seemed to split the stadium in half. Now, if one had to tell of the top rivals, it was common knowledge that the Moles and Groundhogs were the two teams. The fans would not even sit by their opposing animal. Moles had become anxious as the kickoff started again. The Moles had a great kick to Cincinnati's own 3-yard line, but had given up 35 yards. A tremendous roar of applause and shouting came from the west side of the stadium, while groans and anxiety was seen to the east. Regardless if the team wins or not, Mueller was more excited to see Eli Avogadro throw some great passes. Avogadro's number, the quarterback, was 6.02, with a shiny black coat of fur. For the first half, it was like tug of war. One team would have the ball only to have to punt it back to the opposing team. At halftime, Mueller had already grabbed another box of fried worms with a can of Coca-Cola when the show began. The band of the Moles were famous for performing a great show. For example, one year the band had dressed up in different colors and played a popular song at the time while forming the periodic table. This time, though, they walked out and half of the band formed the following equation: 2C sub 2 H sub 14 plus 11 O sub 2 equals, and on the other side of the field was the finished product: 4CO2 plus 14 H2O.
Is that actually a balanced equation?
Yes.
Did you actually say equals?
Oh.
Well, you couldn't
Yes.
say arrow.
-2. Keep going.
Alright. The eastern side went wild. The security had to stand a little taller and become more alert to make sure no audience member tries to rush the field. If there was one thing you must know, it's a Mole's love for science. When it was Groundhog's chance to take the field, they performed a boring song with cannons that shot out Groundhogs, and even had one of those unentertaining singers come on stage. Moles are taught science at a very young age. For instance, Mueller knew how to write out 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd before he could even write out his name. But after halftime, the game resumed. There would be roars of approval on one side, while the other side would grumble or holler back. In the end, the score was tied, 7-7. The New Mole Giants had possession with just 45 seconds left on the clock. The coaches had called timeout and were tense with anxiety as they told their players the play to make. As the Moles went back on the Groundhogs' own 25-yard line, because it was 4th down, Mueller instantly knew the play that they were going to take. It was a classic handoff, just can't believe he fell to that trick. As the play was made, Eli had faked the pass and backed from the offensive lineman to give himself more time. Eli saw a player open as the player had taken the unit of operations, a secret number in degrees, slant forward. Eli threw the ball and it was caught by number 2, Huns, where he ran it until he was tackled into the end zone. The whole eastern side yelled and shouted in victory as the field goal was made for an extra point. The Cincinnati Groundhogs grumbled out of the stadium while the Moles had rushed onto the field and started digging holes into the enemy's field as it was their custom.
The end.
At the end.